All right, let's talk about one of the trickiest assignments you're ever going to get, the comparative essay. You know the one, where you have to take two things that seem totally different and somehow make them talk to each other. It can feel like a huge task for sure. But trust me, by the end of this, you are going to have a rock-solid plan to nail it. So, let's just dive right in.
Okay, just picture this for a second. Your professor gives you one article about the insane cost of college and another one about how AI is, changing our relationships. Then they tell you to analyze them together. The first thing you're probably thinking is, wait, what? How on earth do those two things connect? And that feeling, that where do I even begin? That's exactly what we're going to solve today. So first things first, we need to completely reframe how you think about this assignment. You are not just writing two little book reports and sticking them together. No way. I want you to think of yourself as a kind of moderator. Your real job is to get these two authors, these two big ideas, into the same room and start a dialogue between them. You're there to find the sparks, the common ground, the things they'd argue about. So here on the screen, you can see our two different worlds, right? On one side, you've got Christine Schulkler talking about a really concrete problem, money, and who gets access to education. Then on the other side, you have Allison Pugh tackling something way more abstract, how technology is automating our human experiences. The whole magic trick of this essay is building the bridge that connects these two things.
And this is absolutely crucial. Your analysis has to go somewhere. You're using the conversation between these two texts to build your own bigger argument about the world. For instance, maybe you argue that both authors are actually revealing how modern life is turning essential human experiences, like education or personal connection, into products, things that can be bought or even automated. See? That's your big idea, born from their two smaller ones. That's the goal. Which brings us right to the absolute heart of the essay, your central argument. Honestly, this is what separates a paper that gets an A from one that just gets by. It isn't about what the authors said, it's about what you have to say after you've made their ideas talk to each other. And the process for finding it is actually pretty simple when you break it down. Step one, you've got to find that point of connection. It could be a shared theme, maybe something like commodification, or a shared question like, what are we losing in the name of progress? Then, step two, you take that connection and forge it into a strong thesis. That's your unique argument, and it's going to be the engine for your entire paper. And let's be super, super clear on what a thesis is and what it isn't. It is your unique insight. It's your answer to the big question, so what? Why should anyone care that we're reading these two articles together? If your thesis is just, well, Schukler talks about college costs and Pugh talks about AI, nope, that's a summary. You've got to get to the analysis, the so what.
Okay, so you found your brilliant thesis. That's awesome. But, an argument without any evidence is really just an opinion. So now we got to talk about how to build your case. And the best part is, you're going to make the original authors do most of the heavy lifting for you, using their own words to prove your point. So here's your game plan. Don't just talk about their ideas in general. Pull out specific, juicy quotes. Compare how each author makes their point. And look for the interesting stuff. Where do their ideas complement each other? And maybe even more importantly, where do they clash? Pointing out that tension, that shows some serious critical thinking. Here's what that looks like in practice. You make a claim, and then you back it up with a short, powerful quote. You see how it's not just dropped in there? It's woven right into the sentence. It flows. That's exactly what you're aiming for. And after every single quote, every single piece of evidence you use, I want you to stop and ask yourself the most important question of all. So what? Why does this quote matter? How does it actually help prove my bigger argument? The answer you give to that so what question, that is your analysis. That's the part of the essay that is 100% you. All right, let's talk about the architecture. We've got our argument, we've got our evidence. Now we have to put it all together into a structure that's clear, logical, and just plain powerful. This is the blueprint for a winning paper. First up, let's just get the easy stuff out of the way. 4 to 5 pages, double-spaced, 12-point Times New Roman MLA style. You got this. And check this out. No outside research. Your professor wants you to work only within this little universe of the two articles. This is all about going deep, not wide. The structure itself is a classic for a reason. Your intro needs a great hook to grab the reader, and it has to end with your sharp thesis statement. The body paragraphs, that's where you roll out your evidence and, of course, your all-important so what analysis. And then the conclusion, it zooms out. It doesn't just restate what you said, it shows us why your argument matters in the bigger picture. If you only remember one thing from all of this, please let it be this. This is not a book report. It is not a summary. It is an argument, and your thesis is in the driver's seat from the very first sentence to the very last. Every single paragraph, every quote, it all has to serve that central argument.
So, why do your professors even assign these things? Is it just some kind of academic torture? I promise it's not. There's actually a much bigger, much more important reason. This assignment is designed to teach you a skill that you will use for the rest of your life.
Think about it. The world is a messy, complicated place. Information doesn't come at you in neat little categories. This assignment literally trains your brain to look at two seemingly random things, a money problem and a tech problem, and to find the hidden connections, the deeper story that ties them together.
And that number one skill you're building here, it actually has a name. It's called synthesis. It's the ability to take different, separate ideas and combine them to create a totally new, deeper understanding. It's what innovators do, it's what leaders do. And this essay, well, this is your training ground.
So the next time you come across two completely different ideas, don't just let them sit there. Ask yourself, what's the conversation happening between them? What amazing new story are they telling together? Because the world is just full of these hidden conversations, and they're all just waiting for a curious mind like yours to bring them to light.